Welcome to our 2012 Diamond Jubilee film from Epworth, the Isle of Axholme in Lincolnshire. It's a long time since the last Jubilee in 1897. That was of Queen Victoria, and in June this year our Queen Elizabeth II, is about to celebrate her Diamond Jubilee. Part of the Jubilee celebrations concern and are to do with the coronation. And I'm very fortunate, and we are pleased today to welcome a man who was not only at the coronation, he received later Maundy money, and I'm pleased to welcome Brian Bull. Nice to see you, Brian.
Nice
Thank you for coming up. Yes. Tell us a little bit then first about Maundy money.
Yes. Each year the Queen hands out Maundy money to people who have served their community. Each year she goes around a different part of the country to a cathedral, and the people are chosen for what they've done in the community.
By who chooses them?
The local church,
Mm-hmm.
yes, the cathedral. Now, the number of people are equal to the age of the Queen. So this year it was at York Minster, and 86 men and 86 women were presented with Maundy money.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my involvement in 1955 was that I was chosen as one of the Maundy children. Traditionally, as well as these elderly people, there are 4 Maundy children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And interestingly, we walked in the procession holding a little posy. Now that goes back to the date when the country was rather smelly and everything, and people used to carry posies to take away the smell, these foul smells. So we did that.
I just come in, isn't it right today the Queen carries a posy at the same time the Duke of Edinburgh?
Yes, they do. Yes.
And that's to signify this smell or odour.
That's right, yes.
Tradition,
yes.
in other words.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And also interestingly, the Maundy money is contained in individual purses, and these are carried by a beefeater in a plate on his head.
Ah.
And it's said that that was done because prior to them, in days gone by, and prior to them having actually money, they were given food. And it's said that they carried these on top of their heads so that the people couldn't sort of pinch the food.
Yeah, well, we've got some. Well, obviously we've got your money,
Yes.
Maundy money with us. 4 coins. Tell us what the denominations are.
The denominations are 1 penny, 2 penny, 3 penny, and 4 penny. They're made of sterling silver.
Can I just come in? Why the 4 penny? Is there a significance in that?
Just by tradition, I think.
I mean, we're used to 1 pennies, 2 pennies, and 3 pennies.
Yes.
Suddenly a 4 penny arrived.
Yes, yes. I think there used to be a 4 penny actually in days gone by. I think it was called a groat.
Oh, yes,
I think
it
so.
was.
Yes. But the children were given these just as a token of their. Yeah. One other interesting thing I think is that after the service, we were lined up, and the Queen and the Duke came along to meet us, and I was wearing my Coronation Medal which we have here. Because I was a choir boy in the Coronation Choir.
Yes.
And she said to me, "Oh, I see that you sang in my coronation." So I said, "Yes, ma'am."
In that lovely voice.
And one of the girls was standing next to me, and she, the Duke, in the service, she was sitting near to the lectern where the Duke reads the lesson. Mm-hmm. And he said to her, because he's renowned for all these quips and things, I hope I didn't bawl in your ear too much, my dear, which was rather nice.
Okay, so you got the medal, which we've got here, a beautiful medal, an unusual depiction of the Queen's head.
Yes, it's a beautiful depiction of the Queen in her earlier days.
When she was young.
The present coinage, they update it, but for these medals, they use her as a young person. Yes.
Okay, now let's move on now to the actual coronation itself. Now, again, we have, I think you called it the Order of Service,
yes.
The Music Order of Service, which is quite a rare item now, I would think.
Yes.
And nice to own.
Yes, yes. Perhaps I should explain how I managed to be in the Coronation Choir.
Yes, exactly, that's it, yeah.
I come from London originally. I now live in Nottinghamshire, but I went to school at Westminster City Grammar School, and at that time they supplied the choir for St Margaret's Church in Westminster, which, if you don't know, but it's adjacent to Westminster Abbey. Here's Big Ben here, so right in the centre of things. So through being at that school, they supplied the choir for St Margaret's Westminster, and that's how I was a choir boy there. For the coronation itself, the choir was chosen from all the cathedrals and main churches in the land, and there were in fact 400 boys and men in the coronation choir,
which is minute in number to what the population is.
Yes, indeed.
So very exclusive thing to have done.
Yes, 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 yes.
Going back to the actual time in the Abbey when the coronation was happening, did you get hairs on the back of your neck? Was it something that?
I don't think so, really.
No.
We were seated up behind the organ, actually, and all we could see of the service was just a little bit like that, with the procession coming in and going out. So it wasn't late until I saw it on television. You obviously could hear it all, marvellous music and everything. But yes.
Yes, you mentioned television, of course, and we're a similar age, and 1953 was when most people bought television.
Yes. But yes, this was the form of service and music for the coronation, which I actually used. Interestingly, when I was 12 at the time, you know what 12-year-old boys are like. We all went around getting signatures of some of the people that were involved with the coronation, and this is William Mackay, who was the head of music at Westminster Abbey, and he was actually knighted for that.
For that actual,
yes.
Is he still alive?
No,
Uh-huh.
no, he died.
Passed on,
Yeah.
What other singer?
And there's a lady here, because there was an orchestra as well. A lady here that's obviously she was in the Martin Quartet, which was I don't know what instrument she was playing, but and there's somebody that sang in the Chapel Royal Choir, which is at Windsor. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actual book is a complete list of the music that was played then on the day.
Yes, there's all the music.
Yes.
And all the prayers and everything, and it's all there. Yes.
The service lasted.
Because the service, I think, lasted about 2.5 hours. But we choir boys, I think we were actually in the Abbey for 8 hours.
Were you?
Because we had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
What about rehearsals?
There were a lot of rehearsals beforehand, and they took place in St Margaret's, Westminster, actually,
yes.
not in the Abbey. But there must have been regional practices as well, because they
couldn't travel down.
Travel down all the time. Yes.
What about your smocks? They were.
Well, it was.
Were they specially made for the?
No, our normal choir cassocks.
Cassocks,
yes,
smocks.
yeah, with a ruff.
Yes, that's something I didn't know.
Yes,
it's called a ruff.
A ruff. Yes.
Anything else? Are there other parts of the? So you had the ruff, you had the cassock.
Yes, and the surplice.
And the surplice.
Yes. Just what one would wear normally at a service.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
And so, the coronation finished. You know, the Queen moved around, and what sort of happened then? What happened then after? Did there any sort of celebrations?
No,
For you?
just went off home again.
Did you? Went off home again.
One thing that sticks in my mind, and remember, you know, a 12-year-old boy, we were there for a long time, so we were given refreshments. The thing I really remember is the jam donuts and the ginger beer that we were served up with. Yes,
yeah, all the sugar used to stick to your face. I remember that. Still does, I think.
Yes.
So all in all, then that day, you know, was it nearly 60 years ago?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
And now we're coming to this Jubilee. What are your thoughts on the Jubilee this year?
Well, I think it's great, you know, to be celebrating, you know, 60 years of the Queen's reign. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, in as much as there's only 5 other countries, I believe, that can say they've celebrated the 60th. That's, I think, Thailand, Japan, China, Malaysia, I think ourselves. So only, you know, out of all the countries in the world, there's only those few that, I mean, a 60th Jubilee is a big event, isn't it?
It is.
And I suppose we're going to see a lot on television about what's going to happen, street parties and everything else, but it's nice to be alive to see one, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes.
And particularly for you.
That's right, yes.
Yes,
and it's also nice to see that bells are a prominent thing in the celebrations, because I'm also a bell ringer.
Yes, I was going to come on to that. Yes, and they call that Campanology.
They do. We call it bell ringing.
You call it bell ringing. So I know. Now, so we're here in Epworth. What are your links to Epworth then? How do you come to be in Epworth?
Yes. Well, my wife came from Lincolnshire. She lived in Willingham by Stowe, and through that, the ringers in London, through our association, got to know people like Melvin Rose, etc. Up here, and that connection has carried on over all those years. Yes. I
mean, I don't think there's many people in Britain who've pulled these bells. I mean, I say pull them, I don't know if that's the term. But the thing is, you know, does it take a long time to learn?
Yes, it does. Yes. It takes months to learn just to handle a bell safely.
Yes, I can imagine.
Because, I mean, these bells are half a ton or more, and you've got them swinging around at the top of the tower with ropes going up and down. So it does take, you know, quite a long time just to be able to handle a bell before you can be ringing with the others.
Yeah. Have you got to be musically inclined, or haven't you?
No, I think probably more a sense of rhythm.
Right.
And yeah, really, and dedication, really.
Now, I'm led to, well, I think I'm right in saying there are certain churches, cathedrals, have got different amounts of bells.
Yes.
Which has got the most? Which place has got the most bells?
Well, the normal maximum is 12, and you'll find that places like Lincoln Cathedral has 12 bells.
Yes.
And at Epworth here you've got 8 bells. Yeah.
Nice they are too.
Yes, I love them.
I love the Sunday morning when they practice.
Yeah.
I think they practice a lot. Well, they do a lot of practice. And,
yes.
You know, it's rather nice to hear. Because I think for the average person, you know, you don't know if there was a mistake made. It's sort of, I don't think you'd spot it. Would that be right? I mean, it just sort of flows.
It depends how much of a mistake.
Yeah.
If you get too many mistakes, then we'd stop and start again.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So we're forever trying to get it, you know, sort of.
So has Westminster Abbey got more bells than other places? Or not?
Westminster Abbey's got 10 bells, in fact.
You're a captain. This is almost like a rank, isn't it? I mean, of the bell ring.
Well, you've got to have a leader, haven't you?
Yeah. So why not a leader then? Why a captain?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Just tradition.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
And how long have you been a captain of your local?
For 40 years this year. Yes.
40 years.
Yes. Well, they keep voting me on, you see.
Yeah, well, you're very competent, obviously, and very experienced. So, okay, we've covered
three main aspects. Very interesting that well, not interesting. It's unique, to be fair, that you went to the coronation, and I'm sure everybody that's watching this has learned a lot more about Maundy money and about the coronation, and even Campanology, or bell ring, as you call it, the ringers. So, with that, we thank you very much for coming along. We found it most interesting, and we wish you all the best down at Ratcliffe on Trent with your bell ring in the future. Very nice to meet you, Brian. Thank you.